More AEW stars following Penta to WWE. Wrestlers upset behind the scenes. WWE and TNA officially update their Facebook status to in a relationship, and more. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Get exclusive bonus videos over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Some argue that AEW's problems didn't actually start with CM Punk's Brawl Out promo, that it didn't even start with Hangman Page's shoot promo on Punk months before it. AEW's problems began when one of its founding fathers, Cody Rhodes, left for WWE and was booked to become the promotion's top star, despite how much The Rock keeps trying to stop that. Because even before the fans started to sour on AEW's product in the wake of Brawl Out, the actual wrestlers had their heads turned 5 months before, when Cody returned at WrestleMania. WWE, once the place that would bury you if you had tried to find success elsewhere, was now pushing a previously sworn enemy to the very top. And once Vince McMahon was removed, for the first time, a few months later, AEW stars started to see WWE as a viable alternative for actually enjoying their work. Young former AEW stars Jade Cargill, Ethan Page and Lexis King followed, who all received very decent pushes. Page, who was an afterthought in AEW, won the NXT Championship last year, but I imagine there was still trepidation amongst AEW's luchadors that they would get lost in the Mexican division shuffle. Dragon Lee chose to sign with WWE over AEW, and while he had a decent run in NXT and then an initially big call-up, he's now the Speed Champion, I think.
Yeah, I'm not even too sure anymore. I lose track because it's only on X, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure he's currently the Speed Champion. Dragon Lee. He is the current Speed Champion. I knew it. Other Mexican wrestlers have mostly been split into two Mexican factions, either Rey Mysterio's new LWO or Santos Escobar's Legado del Fantasma, who aren't really focused on. But that might have changed on the Monday 13th episode of Raw, and the debut of former AEW star and luchador Penta. Penta's debut match against Chad Gable and his fiery promo afterwards have been received very well by almost everyone. WWE officials were apparently very happy with how he was cheered by the San Jose crowd, and likely even happier by his merch sales. As Penta just posted, who has the number 1 and 2 top selling t-shirts in the WWE shop? This guy. And reportedly, some AEW stars are now considering following Penta to WWE when their contracts are up, as Lucha Libre Online have posted. Oh, hell no! Gonna copy and paste that into Google Translate. Our sources confirm that there are several AEW talents who do not feel comfortable with their role in the company. These talents did not dare to explore WWE as a real alternative due to the feeling of uncertainty of getting lost in the monster of a system that is WWE. Others because they had not previously had the television time and prominence that they would have liked during their previous stay in WWE. However, that feeling of uncertainty was eradicated because upon seeing Penta's debut in WWE, those talents who want to leave AEW due to their current role in the company understood that having the AEW brand on their resume becomes a strength and a negotiation piece that they can use to their advantage. Because of this, said talents who are not happy with their current status in AEW are more willing to study WWE as an alternative, with 2 of said talents confirming that they would explore free agency in 2025, specifically WWE. Talents feel more secure and confident about achieving success in companies like WWE due to the administrative change, culture change, and the range of opportunities presented to talent that came out of AEW, as was also the case for Ethan Page and Lexis King. Penta's brother Rey Fenix aside, who has publicly talked about trying to leave AEW, most of the big-name wrestlers were signed up to multi-year contracts by either WWE or AEW last year. So there's very little reporting to go on to identify who these 2 AEW talents could be. The only AEW names with their contracts known to be expiring in 2025 are Jim Ross, Angelo Parker, Matt Maynard, Saraya, Renee Paquette, and Chris Jericho, none of whom really fit Lucha Libre Online's description. So, some advice to those wrestlers who are looking to become free agents this year. Refuse to lose and get released from your contract early. On last Wednesday's Dynamite, Will Ospreay told Buddy Matthews that he should take control of the House of of Black. This started speculation that the faction's leader, Malakai Black, was leaving AEW, which Fightful later confirmed. Black's AEW deal was previously thought to expire in 2027, but it's now being reported the final 2 years were option years, meaning Black could become a free agent in 2025 if AEW choose not to exercise them. But PW Torch is now reporting that, just like Ray Phoenix, AEW wanted a lot of time added to the expiration date due to inactive time due to injury. But Malakai recently pushed back against the extension of his contract, and sources say a deal has been either already reached or is in the works for him to become a free agent soon. The report notes that the AEW locker room might be better off without him, as Black was criticized by colleagues in AEW who were frustrated by the perception that he was resistant to doing business, including a reluctance to doing jobs and frequent claims of injury issues. He and Tony Khan never developed rapport. Whether it was because he was actually injured or because he refused to lose, his record in AEW is stark. In the 3.5 years since he joined, he's wrestled just 15 singles matches, of which he won 12 of. It took me a lot of time to figure that out this morning. Despite starting his run with the potential to be a main event title challenger, he quickly became a tag and trios wrestler. The speculation is that he'll return to WWE, which is now run by his NXT Papa Triple H and where his real-life wife Zelina Vega works. Eric Bischoff has also recently said in an interview that Black is a Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman was very high on Malakai, almost like overly aggressive about trying to push him. Paul spent hours and hours and hours in catering talking with Malakai, helping Malakai understand his character. Triple H and Paul Heyman are pretty influential in WWE. So remember that when I read this next part of PW Torch's report. PW Torch has heard that there are influential people in WWE who are big fans of Black and see him as a possible top singles act in the company. So it seems as if he'd be welcomed back and embraced. But Malakai Black isn't the only thing talent is unhappy about in AEW. They also didn't like the MJF line from Wednesday's Dynamite. During a segment with Jeff Jarrett, MJF said, "But allow me to school all you simple-minded folk on the real legacy of The Last Outlaw, emphasis on last, because Jeff Jarrett is the last thing you see before your favorite wrestling company dies. You know, Double J, this whole one more year with the possibility of you winning my Triple B would be a whole lot cuter and warmer and fuzzier if you weren't literally the definition of a pro wrestling Grim Reaper." MJF there still mourning what could have been for Global Force Wrestling. He is, of course, actually referring to TNA, which somehow never died, and is anything just getting stronger. But according to Wrestling Observer Radio, they've heard from many people backstage who are bothered by MJF's line because of how it plays into the unhelpful perception that AEW is also a dying brand, despite it recently securing the next 3 years of its future on TV and becoming the second most profitable North American wrestling promotion ever. Talking of TNA, mine and Luke's full 5-episode series on their historic Samoa Joe vs. Kurt Angle feud from 2006 to 2008 is up in full to watch on patreon.com/WrestleTalk right now. That's an insane 20-hour-long series on patreon.com/WrestleTalk. There's never been a better time to go watch that, as after courting for almost a year, WWE and TNA are taking the next step in their relationship, issuing a press release announcing a multi-year partnership. The new working agreement claims it will create unprecedented crossover opportunities within WWE and TNA programming for NXT superstars and TNA wrestling stars, which includes the TV for TNA and NXT and select WWE premium live events. So Joe Hendry's in the Royal Rumble then. Bayley posted of the announcement, "Finally, my TNA gut check tryout has paid off," and TNA's former Consequences Creed, who now goes by the name Xavier Woods, tweeted, "As the very first TNA homegrown talent to find success in WWE, I just think it's funny that no one who came after me had the manners to say thank you as I held the door open for them." It has led to TNA's Genesis PLE this weekend to now be advertised with the NXT logo, despite no NXT wrestlers being announced for matches on it. And it likely turns the prohibitive portal into, well, a facilitative portal, just weeks before WWE's Royal Rumble PLE, which has 2 matches designed for surprise appearances, which, of course, the Hardy Boys are immediately trying to promote themselves onto. Matt Hardy replied to the announcement with a gif of him and Jeff in their WWE Team Extreme gimmick, and he also told Chris Van Vliet that they've already filmed some content for WWE that will come out soon, and that he feels good about having a crossover match in WWE this year. That 5-episode, 20-hour-long TNA series I referenced earlier, well, the first episode is available to watch for free on our YouTube channel right now. Click the video on screen now to enjoy the absolute lunacy that is 2006 TNA as slowly being taken over by Vince Russo. Levesque Hickenbottom!